Hello, goblins. It's Chris, Eldritch Pipes. If you were wondering what happened to last week's episode, all I can say is that life got in the way, and I needed to take care of other things. One of the joys of not having this channel have a sort of a patron system, or I don't make any money off the YouTube channel. I do it purely for pleasure, and so it kind of means that I'm not beholden to do an episode, and that works out well for me because sometimes it's just not possible. Last week I seem to remember that I said, "Oh, let's choose what special pipe I'll make for this week." Well, it would have been last week, and man, due to various things, the ways the stars aligned, cock-ups on my part, I just had to take care of other things, and I won't go into the nitty-gritty, but I was making pipes that I shouldn't have been making until later on, and I think my paperwork got a little bit topsy-turvy. Anyway, it's mostly sorted out now. But after then, the boy was on 2 weeks leave, and so I go on the go slow when he's on holiday, and I go down to one pipe a week pretty much. So I've been chasing my tail. But anyway, I made a few pipes last week, and I made a pipe this week. So I'll show you those. 2 of them we're going to have to do putting a photograph up here because I had to send them off. And one I still have in hand. I'm smoking. Very enjoyably, but a little bit daringly on video. Jermaine's King Charles. Very enjoyably because it's a beautiful blend, but daringly because Jermaine's tobaccos touch on the damp side, and so they do have a habit of going out, so I'm expecting this to go out while I'm talking. Now you could say, why don't you dry it out a bit? I have tried that, but with Jermaine's, I have found, I'll qualify that, I have found for me that when I dry them out a bit, they lose a good % of flavour. So this is a common problem with the Esoterica blends as well. Absolutely amazing flavour, but you have to mother them very closely, and letting them dry out doesn't seem to be a good idea. That just seems to be the way of the beast. But, so if this goes out while I'm talking, I'm just going to put it down. Or you might see me tamp it quite frequently. So, what have I been making? Let me move to one side. Not that side, this side. So I can put up pictures over here. Right, first one. Now you might remember that 2 weeks ago I made a straight egg. I was supposed to be making a corrupted egg, but the briar was too good, so I had to make it a smooth. Well, on my second attempt to make a corrupted egg, I put a slight bend in it because I seem to remember that the original did have a bend. So I did that, but again, the briar was smooth. I had to make a smooth pipe out of it. Fortunately, it was close enough shape-wise that the customer was happy, so he went for it, and I think got a better corrupted egg or shape in the style of the corrupted egg that I've done before. So it was a real cracking pipe. As you can see, it's like a very nearly, it's, I wouldn't say straight grain, but the grain is all flowing in the right direction. And I chose to pair it this time with a red Cumberland. So you can see on one side the grain's like really prominent, on the other side not quite as prominent, but again still going in the same way. And this time with a plateau rim. I don't think I've done an egg with a plateau rim before, and my plan wasn't to do it on this one either. I was all ready to shape it off to do a kind of like asymmetrical rim, or should I say parallel rim? Parallel is the word I'm looking for, parallel to the shank. But in the end, I just thought, I think that's going to work really well, and I just left it. Plateau was smooth. It's a nice juxtaposition. Just looking at the underneath. And the Cumberland was a really nice piece as well. Kind of erratic, but also kind of linear as well. Sometimes the Cumberland goes like completely, almost like kind of you get going. You sort of see the liquid pattern, and sometimes it goes quite linear, like more like traditional Cumberland. And this seems to strike the balance between the two, which is quite nice. And the sort of the button end was more black heavy, which I think is quite pleasing. Then the colour sort of like comes in the closer you get to the shank. There was a chocolate and yellow stain on that one, which is something that I commonly do, but I really knocked the chocolate back because I really wanted the yellow element to be forward. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Alright, yeah, I'm going to put this down. The next one, a pipe I haven't made in a long while, and I'll tell you why. It's a Guinness Dublin, and on one side you can see like the really nice linear. It's really dark with just like flecks of light grain coming through. On the other, it's lighter, so you see like larger flecks of white coming through. But the thing that really makes, there's a couple of elements that make this shape, but the signature element is the stem. It's I can't quite remember when I created the first one, but it was when I was these stems are when I was making polyester stems, which is it's a beautiful material to work with. It is very hard. It's nearly glass-like, so as hard as acrylic, which is definitely the harder end. And some people don't mind it, some people do. So it kind of depends, but it does have this wonderful feature. Well, okay, so sometimes it can be infuriating, but when you utilize it for something where it works, it's amazing. And that is that different colours have different densities. And so in this case, the cream colour was much denser than the black. And so you pour the cream into the black and the cream sinks to the bottom and creates this lovely sort of separation that looks like head of a pint of Guinness. And then, of course, it has to be a Dublin shape or Dublin inspired shape, so that you can call it a Dublin Guinness. And then I put a plateau rim. I think every one I've done is a plateau rim because it just seems to work with the ruggedness. And it's just a very enjoyable pipe to make. I was wondering when the last one I'd made was, because I actually have only one Guinness blank left. I made all my Guinness blanks now about 3 years ago, and Ian Walker took a load of them, and I used a piece for a pipe that I took to the Chicago Pipe Show that Andrew Levins reminded me he bought, and I'd forgotten about that pipe. That was the last one I made, so that was 2.5 years ago, something like that. And so this pipe took the second to last piece that I have. I've got one more piece left, so I don't know when I'll use that, but when I do, I've never been able to recreate that effect in the new resin, and I'm not sure it's worth buying more of the polyester resin in order to make more, because I so rarely use it. But I'll keep trying to recreate it in the new resin. That's kind of in the back of my brain to keep working on that one. So yeah, Dublin Guinness. Guinness Dublin. A Goblin Guinness. Alright, and on to the last pipe, which is this week's pipe, just one. And I think next week's pipe will just be one pipe as well, almost certainly. And it is a sandblasted author. Now this, I love the author shape. There's something in the DNA of an author that's related to a print. Something in the kind of slightly squished bowl, but really sort of rounded, sort of fat profile. Obviously they seem to occupy slightly different positions on that scale somewhere, but yeah. This is almost a copy of a shape of a version that I did many moons ago, but with a black stem. This is a red and black contrast, you can see. Kind of a medium blast on that, enough to bring out the ring grain, enough to bring out some contrast on the straight grain. But done so it's nearly a fade blast. I think it might be a style called Fumier. Can't quite remember where I heard the name, but you not only are contrast blasting, but you're leaving it more black to the rim. You're giving it kind of a blackened, smoky rim, which is what I've done there, as you can see. And then this was done with a smoke Cumberland stem, which for some reason, the detail in the smoke Cumberland stem, black and white, always comes out much finer than all the other colours. I don't know why, but it's why instead of calling it black and white Cumberland, I called it smoke, because it does just do something different than the others. And again, there's just like this nice little bit of flare of white then as it goes to the shank. So there you go. That was a commission. It is not available. So there you go. Those are last week's and this week's pipes. Alright, I'm not going to do what pipe shall I make, because at the moment I can't fulfill that. Like I say, I'm going to make one pipe next week that's part of the commission set, and then the week after that I'll get back to normal, but I've got a lot of catching up to do, so I've got a lot of pipes that I need to make. So it'll probably be in 2 weeks' time before I catch up with myself and put up for discussion what shape to make. Alright, that's quite enough waffle from me. Oh, just to say, the weather has just turned exceptional now. It was a little chilly still right at the beginning of this week, but it was like, today it was 25. It like did a pretty sharp ramp up this week, so hope we just have a good run of lovely weather now. I said that's enough from me, and then I rambled on a bit more, but that is enough from me now. I'm going to stop. So, until next week, take it very easy, your loyal pipe maker.